ouch, 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 ouch. Let it go. Let my earring go. Oh, let my earring go. Let it go, baby. Woo. Okay. You are now live. We are live, y'all. Um, I've got a special guest. Yeah, it's my grandson. And he's in a talkative mood. So forgive the screams. He has noticed his voice. Yeah. Now he wants to look at my phone. Oh my goodness. His mother's supposed to be coming in here and taking him. Let me make sure you guys can hear me. Okay, so you guys can hear me. He is now distracted and looking at the other device. Oh, bless you. And drooling. Find a paper towel because his blankets are on the other side of the room. I just picked him up because he was screaming, and I knew I had to go live. So we're gonna let him. He likes to be really close to the device, and now he's just very, very movable, very active right now. Right now he knows the phone's over there, so he's gonna keep looking at the phone. Okay, so as single moms do, we do what we do, and how we need to do it. Welcome, single moms, to Single Moms Level Up, hashtag Single Moms Level Up. My name is Bess, and I am the host and the founder of the Single Moms Club private Facebook group, and also Single Moms Level Up YouTube page. So this is the event, the third day of this event. Instead of having a challenge this month, we're doing an event, and it's the 5-day Single Moms Bargain event. So this is day 3, and we're talking about the subject of, or the topic of, the E and the F of bargain deals. So the E and the F of bargain deals. So the E and the F would be events and farms. So these are some places where you can find some really good bargains at as single moms. These are places that I've found bargains at. And then plus at the same time, especially if you can find a farm somewhere, yes, you might have to drive. You might have to drive a little ways or go outside the city limits. He just dropped his binky. I guess he doesn't want it. So anyway, or you can go outside the city limits. A lot of times it's not too far, maybe 30 to 45 minutes outside the city limits, and you can find some farms where you could do pumpkin patch, and take the kids, to see a pumpkin patch, or and this is all year round. Strawberries, pick strawberries, green beans. Sometimes they do watermelons, but not too much because they're very, too heavy for the kids. Pumpkins are sometimes too heavy too, but they won't let them pick up the pumpkins. The strawberries, they can pick the strawberries themselves, and a lot of times they sell them by the bucket, and so you get way more than. What just happened? What happened? What happened? Why are you screaming? Oh my gosh. What happened? Okay. That was interesting. Don't know why we just screamed right there. Let's see. Ouch. Oh. Hold on. I'm just going to take that earring out. Take that earring out because you snatched it 3 times now. Let me just take it out. before you draw blood. Okay. So, anyway, the farms you can go 30 to 45 minutes, sometimes an hour, depending on where you live outside of the city limits. And you can find some farms where they allow you to pick fruit, um, pick your pumpkins. They have a lot of fresh produce there, and it's very inexpensive. And so you can come out with some very fresh fruit, and larger amounts of fruit. That you can get organic. So basically, it's organically, done. Most of them do not use pesticides and things. They're going to do it in an organic way, and so you can get a lot of good deals there. Um, the one that and I'm not sure because in California I went to a couple of them, but I don't recall them having a smokehouse, and that may just be a southern thing. But here, the farmer that I go to, they actually have a separate smokehouse that's where they actually smoke the meats, and they have smoked sausage and smoke everything, smoke deer, smoke smoked bacon, all of that. Um, and so it's basically, a smokehouse, and you can find what you need, smoked turkey necks, all that. And find it at more reasonable prices than you find in the store, and it's fresher as well. So, although a lot of times fresh means that you need to use it right away. If you don't use it right away, then you need to freeze it within 3 days. Within 2 to 3 days, you need to freeze it because it's fresh and it can't sit in the refrigerator for a long period of time. It will spoil. So you can get fresh eggs at the farms. Um, you can get fresh eggs there. All kinds of things, and it's a good adventure for the kids as well. Now the events, what I'm talking about on that is, like here we have a Nutcracker event, um, Christmas fairs, things like that. You can find some really good, inexpensive, but very nice and well made um, gifts for your kids. Gifts for your kids, girl. You took too long. Um, I'm trying not to, but he's just all over the place. But you can get gifts for your kids, gifts for yourself, gifts for all types of things. But they have way more markets and things at the Christmas season is where you'll find those. Here in Houston, we have something called the Nutcracker Market, and that seems to be the big hot thing for getting Christmas gifts and things of that sort. There, it's a big event and held at a convention center. A lot of times, those tickets are not expensive. You just as long as how we could do that as single moms and um, use that to our advantage is to plan for these things. Plan for these things and plan out what we plan to spend for Christmas, and include, if you want to go to one of these marts, to include the admission to that. It's usually 10, maybe $12 or something like that. There might be parking if it's at a convention center. But if it's like a farm or a market, sometimes the cities have farmers markets, and they're usually somewhere in City Hall. So you can Google these for your area. And those farmer markets, you'll find those there. You'll find a lot of handmade soaps and cheese and flowers and all kinds of gift ideas and gift things that you'll find there that you won't find in a regular store. And this is something that somebody's taken the time to make and share with you. So these are some places where you can find some really good bargains at. Plus, on top of it, you get to meet the people that live in your city. And nowadays we don't always know our neighbors, don't know people that live in our own city, because we're caught up in the hustle and bustle of things and just going to work and picking up kids and sports and all that stuff. And so we don't get to connect with our neighbors, which are not just necessarily people that live to the left and right of us, in front and behind us, but everybody in the area is is technically our neighbors. So you get to reach out and talk with them and develop some relationships with them, and you'll be amazed because they'll share, secrets. They'll share information. You can share back and forth between each other. Sometimes at these farmers markets, not the big events that are at convention centers, but at farmers markets or a farm, you might be able to barter with them. So if you don't necessarily have the funds for it, you may be able to barter something that you have to offer, some service or something that you have to offer, volunteer and help them out with something, and maybe they will barter that with whatever it is that you need. People, especially at farms, are very giving in that way, and all you have to do is ask. I always tell my kids, if you don't ask, the answer's always no. And sometimes they do come back at me with that. But if you don't ask, the answer is always no. So I could tell you one of the things that my mom, and I remember her doing it, but I didn't realize how that had came about. So my mom grew up on a farm, and she grew up on a farm in Texas. And so she grew up on a farm in Texas, but she was raised in another state. And part of her life was in another state. So my mom knew very well how to milk cows and go get the eggs for the morning and all that stuff, because she was a farm girl. So when my mom moved to California and she had my sister and I, and she was divorced from my dad, she had a relationship with one of the farmers that was still one of the few still left in the city that we lived in. At one point in time, it was a farm city, a cow town actually, and so there were still fields of squash and strawberries, and I believe there was a flower field in there too, where they sold flowers. And so we lived out in the suburbs, and my mom somehow befriended this farmer. And so the farmer would give my mother, who we knew was a single mom, and he would give her fresh milk. So we'd get this big old container of milk, and it was a big, huge container of fresh milk that, if you watch in some of those places where they see them hook them up to a milking machine, it's one of those containers. So my mom knew how to do that, and so she would help him with milking the cows. And so in payment for that, basically in bartering with that, he would give my mother a big container of milk. So I grew up on raw milk. And so when that stopped and the farm was no longer there, because it actually burned down, somebody did something, and the hay because they had horses and cows, and their hay storage caught fire, and we watched it burn. The fire department, there was nothing they can really do, because if they started trying to spray it, it would jump to the houses that were right next to it. So they had to just let it burn. And so it burned, I think, for a day and a half, because it burned it to the ground. And so they had to get the cows and the horses out of there, burn their house down. Everything was burned to a charred crisp. So they lost everything. And so when they left, then we went to store-bought milk, and that was just, it was different. It was different. So mind you, raw milk has a layer of cream on the top. When it sits, the cream rises to the top. So you always have to shake the milk before you drink it. So I grew up with that. I grew up with that, drinking, basically it's almost like buttermilk. And so I grew up with that and drinking that. And so when we went to pasteurized milk, that was very odd for me. I still, even to this day, shake my milk. I don't know. I can't get out of that habit, but I still shake my milk before I drink it, even though there's no cream at the top. But it's just something that I do. And But yeah, you could do those things in at the farms, and just ask, ask, and know that all they can do is say no. There's no embarrassment of that. Know that they're most of them are more than willing to help out single moms, because they know that we're struggling, especially if you're offering to do something, and to do something to help them, and they'll turn around and help you in that way, by providing you with whatever you may need as far as food. Also, let me just throw this in there real quick. There is WIC as well. So a lot of times with WIC at farmers markets, you can use WIC at farmers markets. So when you go to the farmers market, you need to ask if they take the WIC card. So WIC is now on a card, and it's no longer the little coupons anymore. And WIC is women, infant, and children's. It's all across the United States. So from the time that you're pregnant, to I'm sorry, there's stuff popping up on my screen. So from the time that you're pregnant to when your child is 5, you can get WIC. It's women, infant, and children's. It helps you out. It's a food supplement program. It will help you out with things like milks, cheese, cereal, and I'm talking about cereal for you and the kids when they get older too. Um, Milk, cereal, eggs, juice, formula. It will They'll get you formula if you're formula feeding. Um, if you're breastfeeding, they kind of give you some extra other things to try to help you with keeping your nutrition. It's a nutrition program, and then also they come in, they give you some check-ins where it's not necessarily a doctor checkup, but they check in, check the baby's weight, make sure they're growing, give you some suggestions to things to ask the doctors. So a lot of times when we're single moms, and if it's your first child, you don't know what to ask the doctor when you go to the appointment. They help you with starting out those conversations, the questions you may have. They give you a lot of information about nutrition for yourself and your children. And they oftentimes give you little goodie bags and things of that sort for your kids as well. Even when you get pregnant, they a lot of times they give you a little goodie bag as well, or some type of coupon or something, and to help you out. It was a good program that I actually went through when I had my son and my daughter. I did WIC, and that helped me out a lot, especially being a single mom, and the first time being as first time mom. There's so many books, you don't it's like too much, it's like overwhelm. And I'm one of those people that I'm gonna read, so I got that one book, that a lot of us know, is What to Expect When You're Expecting. And that has so much information in it, but it helped me to understand what was going on with my body, because I was very in tune with my body. And for me, I know some women like being pregnant. I can't stand it. I don't like I don't like not having control over my body, because my body's doing stuff that I have no control over, and I just got to roll with it, you know. And I didn't like that, and I didn't like being uncomfortable. But I like the end product. I like the end product of getting a baby, but I just didn't want to do the 9-month thing, you know. But uh it was definitely an experience, very life changing. And so in that life change, these are some of the things that we can do as single moms to help ourselves out, is to go to these places where we can find some bargains. If you missed any of the days, because this is um, a 5 day single mom bargain event, um, you can go and watch the replays. Sorry. My grandson's watching, intently watching and listening to me, I guess. I don't know. Yeah. But yeah, if you missed any of the days, you can go and watch the replays. They are nicely under the guides, one day, 1, 2, 3, whatever. You can watch it, hit the done button. That way, you did it. So if you come back and you don't remember where you're at, you already watched that. Plus that will also put you in the running for the free giveaway of the Single Mom Queen Kit. If you want to know what's in that I talked about on day one. I talked about that on day one, what was in that kit and what the rules were for that. You need to be a part of the Single Moms Club, the private Facebook group. So if you're watching on YouTube, I dropped the link to the private Facebook group on day one. I dropped that in the comments, so you can go there if you want to join the group. It's a free group. There's no charge for being a part of the group. And monthly, we have these giveaways when we have these challenges. Now, let me talk about the challenges a little bit. The challenges are just things that we have challenges as single moms. And so the 3 questions that are the entry questions to come into the group are where we get the challenge ideas from to give more information to some that are in the group, and where we get that from. And so we gather information to share with us single moms in the Single Moms Club, and also Single Moms Level Up YouTube channel. We put those there. The Single Moms Club, what's said in the club stays in the club. So if there's questions that you want to ask that you don't want publicized on YouTube, you can put that in the private Facebook group and it will stay there, and the topic will be discussed, but we won't put out who said it or who whatever, we'll keep it private. That's why it is a private Facebook group, because whatever's said in the group stays in the group. So we'll have that. And so back to the E's and the F's of the bargain deals, we have events. There's Christmas markets that happen. A lot of times you can find coupons. I don't know if they do this anymore. A lot of stuff has changed since the pandemic. So I haven't noticed if there's coupons. It used to be that 7-Eleven, Circle K, or some of the smaller stores, grocery stores, and places would have coupons sitting at the register for these type of events. Some of them were free to get in, free coupons. Some of them were free parking. Some of them were discounted rates, for parking or entrance, either way. But a lot of those events you can get into that way. Sometimes the churches as well have Christmas markets or harvest markets, or spring markets, or things of that sort. A lot of the churches also have food pantries. So that's one of the F's, is food pantries. If you're a single mom and you are struggling and your funds are kind of funny, go to a church that might have a food pantry. I would go on Facebook and check, or Google it in your city, and you could find a local church that has a food pantry. Some of these food pantries give away some really good, my grandson needs to burp and he's fussing about it. But yeah, so a lot of these churches have some really good food pantries. I volunteer at one, and they give away about $100 worth of groceries. Mind you that some of the stuff might be getting ready to expire. A lot of bread and stuff like that. It has an expired date on it, but it's best used by, and you could a lot of times use it a little bit after that date, but it has to be used pretty quickly. But they give away fresh fruit and vegetables, whatever they have, because they're getting it from the local food pantry. There's a Houston Food Bank. That's where they're getting it from, is whatever the local food bank is. They get donations from places like Costco and Walmart, and wherever that they partnered with these people, they can get these things from them. And a lot of times it's fresh eggs, milk, meat, vegetables, fruits, all of that, pasta. Don't be afraid to go and get you get in line. They'll have you fill out a piece of paper. Basically, they're saying if you're getting any other assistance, they can put you in it. for low income families, they will help you out. And you can't, now they've got it to where you're in a system. And so you can't go from one food pantry to the other food pantry to the other food pantry and get extras. Go to the one that fulfills your needs, and know that they all have different stuff. So they don't all have the same things. The pantry that I volunteer at, they're one of the largest. They are the largest one in the county that I live in, and so a lot of people come to this one. Like they give out about 100, like I said, about $100 worth of groceries every week. You can volunteer to help them to sort and everything. To help them sort and everything. And when you volunteer, you and your kids can go volunteer if they're old enough. And even if they're young kids, they have to stay with you. But they feed you. They feed you a lunch most of the time. Most of the time they'll feed you lunch, and there's coffee or whatever available too. But some pantries are not like that. This is a large, like I said, they're the largest one in my county, and my county's pretty big. That's what they do there. But go volunteer. Again, you get to know your neighbors. You get to make some friends with some people. It's a lot of fun. A lot of fun, and it actually, heals your heart for the situation that you're in. It will come and touch your heart about that as well. So that's food pantries. Food pantries are a great place for food. They generally give away turkeys and stuff at Christmas, and try to give you Thanksgiving meal fixings. Some of them they give what they can get, because these food pantries have to come up and raise money, and get money some kind of way, or develop some type of barter system, or create some relationships to get the donations that they get to give away to other people. That's something that you can do. And go volunteer, and they will let you still get your basket or whatever. They'll put it aside for you or whatever. Or when you're ready to leave, they'll let you take a basket and go put it in your car or whatever. But food pantries, don't knock them, man. Don't knock them. Some of them are get the last booty butt of stuff. And I experienced that in California, and I was totally disgusted with what they gave me. I was like, this stuff wouldn't last a day. I mean, it was definitely like the third or fourth round of this food. It had gone from one place to the next. I'm not going to go into details about what the grocery stores do, but this was, they try to use the food as much as possible and recycle it as much as possible, to the point that they, eventually it will have to be just thrown away. But anyway, I wanted to give that to you guys for your bargains for today. So tomorrow we'll talk about something else. We'll talk about the ABCDEF. That's the shame. ABC. I'm a little tired, y'all. We'll talk about the G and the H of the bargain deals tomorrow, which will be day 4. Thank you so much for watching. I'm doing really good with my time. I'm proud of myself. I'm doing better with that. I'm not I'm not dragging it out or forgetting what I needed to say or whatever, regardless of what's going on. We just gonna keep moving forward. We're gonna do what single moms do, and we do what we gotta do. Do what we gotta do. There's no shame in it. Just feed your kids, be safe, have some fun while you're doing it. Breathe, have some fun, and know that you're gonna be all right. You're gonna be all right. You're gonna make it through. Your kids are gonna make it through. You're gonna be fine. Yeah, you can turn it on. Your kids are gonna be fine. You're gonna be fine. Just find some different ways. Look at things from a different perspective. Know that it's not always, if you have a bad experience over here, doesn't mean you're going to have the same bad experience over here when you're trying to ask for the same type of help. Go ask. If you don't ask, the answer is always no. You know what I'm saying? The answer is always no if you don't ask. So much love to you guys. # single moms level up. I'll see y'all tomorrow. Bye. Have a good night, evening, morning, wherever you are, as this is an international um, single moms club. And the people that are in the club are international. We're all over the world. And so people may be at different time zones. So much love. Have a great day, evening, night. And we'll see you tomorrow for the G and the H of the the single moms bargain event. The 5-day event will be on day 4. Bye.